When he could take no more, when she tasted of him, he slid inside in a long, endless thrust that shattered them both. Sighs and pleas and moans mingled in enthralled chorus. Before they were ready, too steeped in passion of tenderness to stop the night, oblivion broke over them, around them, through them, limbs intertwined, hearts beating in wandered unison. Ethan wrapped her to him, and at last they slept. Hidden Sins by Stacey Abrams. You're welcome.
I'm high atop the penthouse of Black Mount, wondering why I done had to call a plumber the other day, cause I keep trying to turn off my damn faucet, and them fine-ass hot and cold running white women, they keep coming out anyway. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all them ships at sea. Welcome to the Blast Radius. I'm your special guest correspondent, Black George Washington, America's baby daddy. And y'all better strap in yourselves, because I got the golden age of Western civilization news roundup coming at you like a motherfucker, baby. So let's do this shit. Dateline Hollywood, Monday the 17th of February. Playboy magazine done pulled their head out their ass this week after 5 long years in some woke-ass wilderness where they done convinced themselves that Playboy readers, they want to see lady boy playmates, Lizzo centerfolds, and even a ban on nudity. Jim Eagle, are you fucking with a brother right now? Playboy goddamn magazine done ban nudity? What the fuck next? Is Wiener Schnitzel gonna ban hot dogs? So, spoiler alert, didn't no kind of Playboy fans want to see no kind of Playboy magazine that looked like that? Now, Jim Eagle, how much they had to spend for that extra paper for that Lizzo centerfold? Because I feel like 2 normal-sized pages in a damn magazine couldn't even contain both them ass cheeks. It'd have to be like one of them big old fold-out maps from some old-ass National Geographic or some shit. But I haven't thought about it a little bit. I think maybe if Lizzo is your damn map-sized National Geographic centerfold, maybe the no nudity thing ain't such a bad policy after all, because ain't nobody want to see no naked Lizzo. Take Black George Washington word on that. No Playboy, not no National Geographic, not no kind of person who got that stuff to function. Shit like that. Everybody play football. Ever decide that they want to date to see lady boy plates and fold out Lizzo centerfold maps instead of fine ass hot and cold running white women in their birthday suits? I mean, didn't Playboy just about have the simplest business model they is? Fine naked white women plus a camera equals profit? I ain't got no theory but to say cocaine is one hell of a damn drug. Dateline Washington, Tuesday, 18th of February. President Donald Trump, in one of the greatest acts of trolling that this here reporter done ever seen, has hung a framed portrait of his Georgia mugshot on the White House wall right outside the damn Oval Office. Now, you people remember that damn mugshot. We ain't heard no comment from Fannie Willis yet, but you all remember how hard she worked just to make that damn mugshot exist. Fannie Willis, she was on that case so hard, she done spent 2 years of her life doing nothing except prosecuting Donald Trump and making Nate Wade reluctantly have sex with her on various cruise ships. Our girl Fannie, she was working that case so hard, she done forgot how to dress herself. She be showing up testifying in court with a dress on backward. Now, if that ain't being dedicated to a case, I don't know what the fuck is. But anyway, Fannie, she done got a mugshot, and you all remember how happy she was that day, beaming and smiling and laughing like she just won a goddamn free lifetime supply of Grey Goose. Because look here, y'all. Now that we got this Donald Trump mugshot, he ain't never going to be president again. Ain't no way that no man with no damn mugshot is going to win no damn election. We done ruined that bad old man, y'all. We done saved democracy. Except, how come Trump poll numbers be going up now? No, I ain't fooling. His numbers going up. White folks, black folks, brown folks, yellow folks, folks with stripes, polka dot motherfuckers. They all love that mugshot. They be making mugshot t-shirts, mugshot coffee cups, mugshot baby onesie. I feel like maybe we done fucked this one up, y'all. But the one man you got to feel bad for is Nate Wade. Because Nate Wade, he got to live the rest of his natural born life with everybody knowing he done got all up in Fannie's lady bits, like lots of times. But it proves the truth of the old saying, the one that goes, what do mopeds and fat women's have in common? They both a whole bunch of fun to ride until your friends see you. Dateline Washington, Wednesday the 19th of February. Elon Musk Department of Government Efficiency, which, depending on which side of the fence you be sitting on, is either a long-needed curative to decades of graft and abuse and corruption, or a lawless exercise in authoritarianism designed to tear down democracy itself, announced this week that the Department of Housing and Urban Development misplaced $1.9 billion goddamn dollars. Now, I know these numbers start to sound meaningless when you hear them get tossed around so much, few billion here, few billion there. It can make a brother's head spin, but consider what kind of shit you got to get up to in order to misplace $1.9 goddamn billion. Now, don't get a brother wrong. I bet Fannie Willis could misplace it, because she keep all her cash in big old fat stacks laid around the house. And hey, sometimes you misplace a stack, am I right? And it's a black people thing, so I don't want to hear no cracker-ass Peckerwood motherfuckers asking any culturally insensitive questions about that. But 1.9 billion? Where did it get misplaced? Who misplaced it? I don't fucking know. But speaking of cracker-ass Peckerwood motherfuckers, I know Joe Biden done got himself a great-grandbaby now. So maybe check that great-grandbaby bank account balance. Maybe you find that misplaced 1.9 billion. Besides, I heard that little great-grandbaby already got himself 6 LLC shell companies, and it takes money to run half a dozen companies, is all Black George Washington saying to you. Or maybe they done misplaced it down that damn mine shaft where they process all them retirement papers and shit. The point be, money get misplaced every day, cause it's an imperfect motherfucker of a world, y'all. Dateline goddamn Washington again, Thursday the 20th of February. In a story that could be very damn closely related to the last damn story, the aforementioned Department of Housing and Urban Development announced the end this week of $4 million in diversity, equity, and inclusion contracts, which y'all are free to draw y'all's conclusions about this, but some might say this begs the question, how does an agency misplace $1.9 goddamn billion? And it might beg the answer, by spending $4 million on dumb DEI bullshit. Now what do I win? Now according to a press release from newly confirmed HUD Secretary Scott Turner, the money in question was earmarked to be spent on something called DEI culture transformation, part of which is outward mindset training and diversity and inclusion subscription research services. You know, if a brother didn't know better, a brother might think this whole DEI thing is a big old motherfucking scam. Outward mindset training? Here, I got your outset mindset training for you right now. Don't walk in front of a fucking train. Here ended the lesson. That'll be $4 goddamn million. You're welcome. You know, sometime Black George Washington, he wished he was not such a scrupulous man. Could have made myself a damn fortune on all that DEI bullshit. All you gotta do is make some white folks feel racist for a couple hours, and they pay you shit. Black George Washington done missed his calling, y'all. Here I was, being the baby daddy of the nation, crossing the fucking Delaware, freezing my black ass off at Valley Forge and shit, chattering my wooden ass teeth together. And for what? Y'all done Black George Washington dirty, bitches. I'm coming back, y'all. And like the noted cracker-ass Peckerwood motherfucker Kurt Russell once said, I's bringing hell with me. Dateline Madison, Friday, 21st of February. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers done announced this week his support for a bill in the state legislature that would remove all specific references to biological sex from all the laws in the entire goddamn state. But wait, Black George Washington, I hear you say, won't that result in some things that sound pretty damn silly and offensive? Well, I'm glad you asked, because yes, the words man, woman, husband, and wife will be uniformly replaced by person or spouse. So, where before we might get insensitive things like, oh, look at that husband and wife over there, don't they look happy? Now we can say something more culturally acceptable like, look at that person and that other person who may or may not be the first person's spouse. Don't they look like they happiness shouldn't depend on no arcane notions of gender or matrimony? But wait, I ain't laid out the best part for you yet. All references in Wisconsin law to the people we used to call pregnant women, expectant mothers, if you will, they now going to use the term, and I swear to sweet baby Jesus, I ain't making this shit up, inseminated person. Now I know what you're saying. Wait, how the fuck does it advance the cause of feminism and sexual equality to refer to women as if their only function is being a vessel for a man's seed? Because I feel like that's kind of the opposite of progressivism. It's all Black George Washington saying to you right now. And when you look at the time, I got to go, y'all. That plumber gonna be here any damn minute. Fix that problem with that faucet. There ain't no telling how many fine-ass hot and cold running white women done dripped out while I've been here with y'all. That ain't important now. Important thing that I'm fixing to pass you off to a man who don't need no introduction, but he gonna get one anyway. He's a large, furry, cracker-ass Peckerwood hominid named Caucasian Sasquatch. I once again am Black George Washington, America's baby daddy. See you next time. Peace out, bitches.
Tactical nuke incoming!
It's still playing because I'm an idiot. Um, there's actually a thing I'm supposed to do here. Ignore this part. Can you believe a significant portion of the population believe in a concept referred to as ancient aliens? That long ago, perhaps even before man set foot on Earth, aliens wandered this world, and that they've returned throughout our history to influence our development. Now, one in chat if you think that's total poppycock.
Full disclosure, the first time I ever saw the Ancient Aliens show, there was a couple things that I said on first reaction. Number one, I said, wow, the History Channel is not all that serious about history anymore, are they? And that's only gotten worse since then.
Oh, they made it.
And the
They
other one
found
was,
mermaid show.
and the other one was, I can't imagine anyone watching this and actually taking it seriously, but I know people will.
Right? There are people
And
who
indeed they
use
did.
ancient aliens as a reference material, as if it's evidence itself. Scotty Waddles gets the gold. We got Thoth Mark getting the silver. And ATL News Transparency gets the bronze. Welcome in, folks. I appreciate you coming through. Kissy May, it's good to see you. Appreciate you being
Scotty
here.
Waddles gets the gold by about a day and a half sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I don't think I've actually been able to chat in my chat before he does. I'm not even sure he's real. He seems to be everywhere all the time.
Like clockwork, he is first every time, often many, many hours before the show starts. So,
yep.
God bless Scotty Waddles.
I'm impressed. We've got let's see who's next. El Perro Hotep, my brother. We got KK Bootsy in the chat. Good chat. Good to see you, Bootsy. Ben T, welcome in. Now remember, this isn't all easy. What we do here is actually quite easy. We pretend it's harder than it is, and that's true for every creator on YouTube. However, we have to buy the rum, people. This stuff doesn't do itself, and without proper mechanization, it's not going to happen. We need the lubrication of industry.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Okay, Anna. I think maybe the money
like
should be.
Those are words to live by.
Yeah, they are, man. Just give it to me straight up. So, yeah, I can't take your money. No way. Yon God, welcome in, bud. Good to see you.
I can take your money.
Dude, that was hilarious. Anson Knowles, welcome in, bro. Might want to back up and start at the beginning because my boy just broke off a piece. Dude, that was fucking great.
You know what I'm acutely aware of right now? I am acutely aware of how we arrived at the knowledge that 12 minutes is the upper limit for how long Black George Washington can go.
Right. I'm doing 13.
If he was here right now, he would freely admit that he might have struggled a little bit during the final minute.
Yeah, man, you did good though. I'm proud of you. That tickles me every time you do that shit. I'm fucking lubrication is what we need. All right. So there's been an awful lot of activity in the governmental sectors. There's been an awful lot of activity in the plane crashing sectors, and there's been an awful lot
at a dizzying pace, you might say.
Yeah, really, like spinning my head around. I've gotten to the point like I take every other day to look at the news that happened in the past 2 days. I will spend a day not looking at all. I won't even glance, and news pops up. I just scroll past it.
Who the hell got the time for talking about that plane crash 2 weeks ago?
Right? Or the one before that, or the one right after that one, or the one before the other one.
Where and let's be fair, the lady pilot clearly thought she was landing in Australia. Where's my rim shot?
I'm sorry, I'm slipping, bro. You got me with that one. Hold up, I got a rim shot. Damn it! Oh, it's on repeat. Why do you keep putting it on repeat? All right, wait, where are we? We're doing stuff. We got stuff doing. So we got the first video in, and when we're talking about Australian pilots, this is exactly what we mean, right? So here we have apparently an Australian pilot who was transferred under DEI protocols to America, and it didn't work out well. But there's a little bit more to
If
it.
he was landing in Australia, it would have worked out great. It would have been a textbook landing.
You know what I always tell people? You can teach any chimp to fly. It's landing that's really the trick. And landing is a matter of throwing yourself at the ground and almost missing.
There's a reason why they call it down under.
So we found some dude that was apparently either in or adjacent to the plane crash. And he does this interview with ABC, and I can't decide if he's serious or trolling. But yeah,
Shout out to Kissy May. She's the source of this video.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kissy May. This is great.
In Toronto, which is leaving some air travelers worried for their safety.
Every time you open your phone, the plane has crashed somewhere. If it's not the one crashing in Alaska, it's commercial airline that is crashing. And if you somehow even fly on the commercial and somehow you make it through the most of the flight and you're about to land, military helicopter will come out from nowhere and come and spoil everything. You say, okay, let me not even fly. I will drive. You drive. That's how you be on the highway. A tractor trailer will come out from nowhere and come and sideswipe you. And when those ones sideswipe you, they don't even know that they did it. They will carry you from Alabama all the way to Tennessee before they notice that you're under their vehicle. You know?
Is he serious? Is this a real person?
He's the most neurotic young man who ever lived. It's so hilarious to laugh at, but also it's very deeply troubling to consider that many of our young people have been conditioned to be this terrified of everything in the entire world, and that's going to start being a problem.
Oh yeah, that's going to breed some of those hard times.
Yep,
where that works.
So is transportation? It's not nothing is safe. Oh. I don't know what we're going to do, and you say, okay, let me not even drive. The right bus problem. You enter bus. That one is even worse. You say, okay, I won't do bus. I won't do plane. I won't do bus. I will go and ride the train. You go to train station. Somebody push in front of the train that's coming. In New York, you know. So
he's not wrong, bro. Like it's and the thing is, with the exception of the airplane thing. That's kind of sourceable to a single source, but the rest of this stuff is just stupid. It's stupid people doing stupid stuff. This is why we need mental institutions. It's for the people that are pushing folks in front of trains.
Watch the lather he works himself into in the next minute or two. Like watch how freaking mental his scenarios get. Like he's got a plane crashing into the house next door to you, and the propeller flies off and shoots into your house and your room and kills you. Not making this up. Just roll it.
I don't understand what's happening even because and then you decide, okay, I will not fly, I will not drive, I will not ride no vehicles. I will not ride. I will use my leg. My Benz and walk. Car will leave the road that they built for
the Legates Benz.
I know. I want to know if he just freestyled that on the spot, because if he did, that's freaking awesome.
I'm just saying, dude, that's so fucked up. My Legates Benz. Oh, that's good stuff. It's got to be pre-considered.
For them and decide they want to drive on sidewalk. And that's how you're now in mortal jeopardy now. So everyone's in danger. I don't know what we are going to do. This airport that I'm in now, I'm even afraid for my life because I'm only here because I got a job interview in New York. So that's where I'm going now. I'm flying to New York and I'm just to see if I can, because I'm between jobs. I'm in between jobs.
No, not you.
In the middle.
Wait, I thought you were
that's the last thing I would have guessed. You seem like such a reliable young fellow.
He probably is. He's just, culturally captured. Just reading what I see in front of me,
And you wonder how long it takes him to walk out the door in the morning to talk himself down from all of his neuroses. all the terrible things that are going to happen to him as
No,
soon
no,
as
no.
he steps out into the world.
You forgot about pharma.
Yes. You
That's
raised a
the
fair
answer.
point.
Before, but now I'm trying to get another one, and the thing that is making me worried now, I'm like because my uncle just died. My uncle died and he left me small inheritance. I inherited.
Hey, bro, did we find the Nigerian prince?
Maybe we did. I think he was going for more than $800.
Small $800 from him when he died. So that's what I used. I even went shopping. I bought new bag, new everything. I bought my plane ticket to say, okay, maybe I will get this job. Imagine now I go and I crash on this flight I'm about to take with my last whole this thing. This was the inheritance that a dead person left for me. Now I've used it to buy plane tickets. Now I've also died. John, it's like it's a
I wish I could understand how he's getting from point A to point B. Like, imagine if the plane crashed when I bought the ticket with my last bit of money. Like, is that worse than the plane crashing if you had lots of money? Because it seems like it's just as unfortunate for you.
Hold on. You're onto something there. That's actually a psychological tick. He values the value of his own life based off of how much money he has possession of.
Yeah, yep.
It would be worse if he died and had more money, but not so bad if you die and you're using your last buck.
I'm so young, I haven't even had a chance to have my middle management career at the local widget factory.
Right? Making those things,
Yes.
A double mortality events, So I don't know what will happen even. I'm just afraid. You will even say, okay, let me stay in my house. Let me not go anywhere. The plane will come. And it's always those small private ones, those ones that those learner pilots will be flying. Those ones will come and crash inside your house. We've been saying it every time you open your phone. Plane has crashed into.
This man just watched Donnie Darko on his previous flight.
Even if you don't fly on the plane is going to come find you.
And it's funny. Up until like the past few months or so, flying was one of the safest forms of travel. You had more chance of being in a train crash than you were in a plane crash when it came down to the brass tacks of statistics. More likely to be struck by lightning. I'm not sure that's going to hold up in the coming decade.
Oh, yeah, massively more likely to be struck by lightning. Struck by lightning is 1 in 75,000. Dying in a plane crash is 1 in the many millions.
Many millions, yeah.
Yep.
And the train is like several million. The thing is when people die in train crashes, it's all of them. And it might be a few hundred.
So if it doesn't crash on a house, it crashed near school, it crashed near grocery store. Plane just falling out of the sky like a distance. So you stay in your house, you think you're safe. The plane will come and meet you.
I don't know who I'm talking to. Listen. I'm listening to this man speak, and he has very interesting cadence. Please, one of you with AI or with some kind of ability to auto-tune, this needs to be a rap.
Oh, it could be a rap, couldn't it?
Make it a rap or a reggae or maybe country music. Do your thing. It's your thing you're doing. Make me better content.
The neurotic rap.
The neurotic liar.
You there. So if I were people now, go and get life insurance. So put your whole family there, your wife, your girlfriend, anybody.
Your wife and your girlfriend?
You put them on the insurance and divide.
Dude, can you imagine it? Let me walk down this path with me, brother. So you get up, you go to work one morning, you do your lunch, you come home, cops everywhere. Airplane has crashed into your house, missing one wing. Your wife's dead. House is ruined. Kid's okay. But then you get a phone call from your baby mama's mama. Turns out your baby mama dead too. Your wife and your side chick is gone. And your house has been just completely humiliated. There's like 500 dead people sitting in your living room.
I appreciate the fact that he is concerned for the welfare of his wife and his girlfriend, but I'm guessing he doesn't actually have either one of those.
Accurate.
Provide it because you don't know when it will happen. The plane might even crash one street over and the propeller will find its way to your living room. What airline am I flying? My ticket was $17 and then I paid for.
What airline can you get a
Where are you getting a
$17
$17
ticket?
airline ticket, son?
I doubt I could fly from here to Savannah for $17. And I know a dude with an airplane. I mean, I don't see it.
Yeah, we couldn't fly anywhere for less than a couple $100.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting to spend $200 on a ticket if I go anywhere.
And aren't they? And they're doing this interview in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. So somehow,
no, we got an answer.
I still want to know how the fuck he flew, and it's obviously an international flight because he doesn't sound abundantly Canadian. So he got from some other country to Canada for $17. That's the news story here. I want to hear more about that.
Right. Here we go, Pero. Where you at? I don't know where you're at. It should land somewhere near you. Give me that rap, baby. I want to hear it. You got 17 hours. $17 flights crash for sure. That makes sense to me. That checks out. I don't. How do you get a $17 flight? I'm still stuck right there.
Queenbird wants to know if he got the Nigerian hopeful New York employee discount, which is a fair question to be sure.
Oh, yeah. Your migrants pass. I suppose.
Welcome to Chateau Mayorkas.
I don't know. I'm afraid to say the name out loud because it's my cause. I don't want to jinx myself, But ironically, this one has not even crashed recently. It's the good ones that be crashing. It make you wonder. These airlines that their ticket are $19, they don't be crashing. No, think about it. They don't be crashing. The ones that have been crashing are the ones that are supposed to be the best ones. So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? That's what we need to analyze.
He's got a point. Yeah, Queen Bird has a point.
My
crash for a $17 trip.
my favorite thing is that he first lists a very thorough compendium of all the very bizarrely unlikely ways in which he's afraid of dying, and then he says, "I don't want to jinx myself."
Right. Oh my God.
What's happened? Okay, let me be going because I don't have TSA pre-check or clear or anyone. So let me go because this airport security be taking like 2 hours. So let me go so some nonsense man can come and manhandle me in the name of TSA check now. That's what they need. They need to abolish that nonsense. How can a grown man like me dress up and go to the airport and say in the name of security, I will remove my shoe? That was not enough. You remove your shoe, water that I was drinking, I throw away. And then grown man
you ain't wrong, brother.
Be touching me all over the place because they're looking for what are they looking for? So somebody should do something about that nonsense. That TSA nonsense. If TSA, if you're watching this, if another one of your agents touch me, what are we?
Hey,
I think he doesn't like. I think he doesn't like the TSA agents touching his wedding tackle.
Do you know what the most confiscated material is going through TSA?
I don't.
Money.
Oh, because you're not allowed to have anything in your pockets.
No, it has to do with some weird old school drug enforcement shit where when you're coming through, it has to do with contraband, right?
Like if you've got over 10,000 cash.
It's not 10,000 anymore. It's now like 5 or 6,000.
Really?
If they stumble across a couple of stacks in your bags, they'll just take it. And a few weeks after you realize you've lost it and raising hell and trying to pitch a fit, they won't tell you shit up there. And then you get home and you got a letter in the mail saying that, by the way, your money was guilty of possessing drugs or something. And so they have taken it. And in order to get it back, you have to sue the money to prove that it's not drug money. You don't actually sue the state and you don't sue the TSA. You actually have to sue the items that were taken.
Me and you and Queenbird should sit around the writer's table one night and dream up a scenario for how you hijack a commercial airliner with nail clippers.
I have an issue with that. I'm pretty sure we would probably end up with some FBI agents showing up real soon after to try to help us with the plot. I mean, we get an ATF agent, an FBI agent, and a CIA agent, and they'd show up with a great plan.
Don't you
Sounds
love
like-
zero tolerance policies?
It's great, man. I love it.
Nope, you can't take that bladed weapon with you.
I will sue. Because that's sexual harassment. It's not sexual harassment. It's sexual abuse then. It's something sexual happened. I don't like it.
And you know, it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please.
All right. So that's the next thing. We're going to take a second. And I'm going to find my lighter. All right, I got it. So of course everybody's been hearing about this whole Doge thing, right? Like it's huge.
Woo!
It's to the moon, man. It's ginormous. What's up, Steve's Art? Steve's Art? Steve
We love us some Doge, baby.
But well then, good to see you. I'm curious. I'm curious. All right. Let's put aside all of the organizations and organoids of the federal government that were created by executive order. All of those are clearly within the premise of the president. Those are all executive things created by the executive branch for the reason of executive purposes, right? As such, anything the president does there is his own discretion.
Yes, but he also does have broad authority to dispose of congressionally appropriated funds in a manner of his own choosing. Which all presidents have taken advantage of that power.
That's true. That's true. And in conjunction with that, those two things being solid, what else has Trump done, or Elon, Doge, in whatever form you want to put the dark MAGA thing that seems to be going on? Has he done anything that you can find that is above and beyond the presidential powers laid out within the Constitution?
Nope.
I got nothing.
But they sure want to call it lawless authoritarianism.
Right? It's weird how reducing the size of government.
Yes.
It's
always the first insidious step in an authoritarian takeover when you drastically downsize and disempower the central government.
Hold on. There's precedent for this. It's referred to in the old bloc regimes as a purge, except usually a purge chops the head off of these organizations, not the rank and file. And this seems to be starting
out the middle section.
Right. Yeah, this seems to be starting with the folks that have been employed within the last 8 years or so.
Yeah, or 12 out of the last 16, as the case may be, or even in a lot of cases, 16 out of the last 16, because, Trump the first time around clearly did not have a full appreciation of what he was up against.
Right. Yeah. So Trump has gone through the trouble of assembling the different things. And I'm pretty sure this is just a list from the Social Security Administration.
I've got the USAID list pulled up.
The whole thing?
Yep. Well, the funniest highlights, if you want me to start reading that out.
Okay.
50 million for condoms in Mozambique.
Yeah.
$1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbian workplaces. Now let's stop right there and ask ourselves, what does DEI look like in Serbia? Are you going to go find a bunch of black Serbians and put them in all the schools and workplaces? Because I'm pretty sure all the Serbians you're going to find are Serbians. So what does DEI look there? Your guess is as good as mine. And now I have to reload the page. All right, I got it back. Here it comes.
Consummate professionals, people.
That is what professionals do, people. 70,000 for DEI musical in Ireland. I still want to know what one of those looks like. 47,000 on a transgender opera in Colombia. Lots of DEI musicals and transgender operas. 32,000 for a transgender comic in Peru. 37 million to the World Health Organization, which we have now once again gloriously pulled out of. God bless President Trump. 16 million for the funding of institutional contractors in gender development offices. We don't even know what country that is. $4 million for funding for the Center for Climate Positive Development. 12 million in support of services to the Bureau for Resilience, Environment, and Food Security. 6 million in non-emergency funding for redundant administrative supports for the Center of Excellence. 3 million in non-emergency funding to provide evaluation services for planning and learning programs. 600,000 to fund technical assistance for family planning in Latin America. And do we even want to contemplate what that might mean? Technical assistance for like you do teach the guy how to pull out? How does that work? Technical assistance.
No, that's the people who set up the computer network to distribute the transgender porn.
You may be onto something there.
Or maybe it's the library with all the transgender children's books.
I still want to go see a transgender Peruvian opera.
I want to find that. I want receipts on that one. That might be a great piece of showmanship. You never know. It might be worth a look. See, just if not, we can always point and laugh at it.
And maybe the Peruvians thought it was great.
And maybe maybe it was exactly what the Peruvians wanted. Although, aren't they mostly Catholic?
Maybe it's had a healing and unifying effect on indigenous Peruvian society.
So apparently El Perro has already completed the I don't want to crash in an airplane rap, and it now has to go through processing. Bro, I think I might have your email. How long would it take you to get that together? We've got about another 35 minutes. Work on it.
Yeah, we're only halfway through this thing.
Yeah. We good. Is that your list? You got more?
Yeah, I got to the end.
Okay, cool. We got Trump's going to do basically the same thing Cap did, but for the Social Security Administration.
In a court filing, the White House said that Elon Musk is not a DOJ employee and has no authority to make decisions. Can you clarify for us today?
Well, Elon Musk,
role is there?
yeah. Elon is, to me, a patriot. So, you could call him an employee, you could call him a consultant,
That thing,
you could call him
but
whatever
she
you
said.
want. But he's a patriot. I mean, look at the kind of things I just said. Just write it down, just in case that question got asked, right? And which I'm surprised.
He wrote it down just in case. You reckon he might have wrote it down twice and then gave it to one of the reporters and then called on that reporter? Because I wanted that question specifically, regardless of what else happens here.
Surely you're not suggesting that a president would ever take pre-screened questions from pre-selected reporters.
Well, perhaps not pre-screened, but is there anything wrong with him making the decision? He wants a very specific question asked, walking out right before the thing and handing it to him and say, hey, I'll call on you, ask this question, and turn around and walk away. What would you do if you were sitting in the press box? The White House press corps calls up Captain Curmudgeon. They email you. They want you in. You're there Monday morning. You come in, first White House press briefing. Donald Trump
did apply, for the record.
Yes. And I will support that 100%. I will go find more talented people than I am to come deal with that. I'll call in favors on that one. But he walks in, just hands you a piece of paper and walks over to the podium, calls on one dude, calls on another dude, and calls on you. And you look at it, and it's a perfectly rational question, not too terrible far from what you were going to ask in the first place. What do you do?
If I'm Joe Biden, I pretend I didn't understand the question and then walk away.
No, you are you, and the president, Donald Trump, just handed you a piece of paper explaining nothing. You look at it, and it's the question that she just asked. Do you go with your pre-planned shit, or do you read what the president of the United States just handed you?
I go with my pre-planned shit.
Really? Dude, oh God, I'll respect you, but I'll also be pissed. and I want the goddamn napkin. That's
Well,
my
I mean,
price.
there used to be certain very rigid ethical lines in journalism that you don't cross. And
Should be, would be. You're a fucking YouTuber. Take full advantage of it, brother. Okay. No
but I
judgment.
also, when I was a very, very, very young man, once upon a time, was a news reporter. So I had to learn all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. I know you're right. I want to see success. And you know good and damn well sticking to your fucking content's not going to be successful after that.
Indeed.
Sorry, bro. Here. Have some of
Surprised it
this.
took so long, actually. But you know what? Ukraine's a bigger deal because people are dying by the thousands a week, thousands. But look at this, from 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people. Well, that's okay. Maybe that's possible. 90 to 99, maybe it's possible. It's a lot of people, though, at that. But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000. Wow, that's a lot.
Okay. So there's what, 350 million Americans, and 4 million of them are over the age of 109.
And I've done a bit of back of the napkin arithmetic on this one, and according to the numbers that were released, we have approximately 20 million active Social Security recipients who are over the age of 120. This includes one gloriously aged individual who is in the 360 to 369 age bracket, which means at the latest, that individual would have been born in 1656, right in the thick of the English Civil War, really. They were fortunate to have survived and made it to America somehow. That person would have been 278 years old on the day Social Security was invented, and what a godsend it must have been. And here he or she is, going strong into his fourth century, third century,
Yeah.
fourth century. Yeah,
Fourth.
you can't even count the centuries. There's so many of them. And God bless America, and God bless our oldest Social Security recipient. I'm sure there's nothing fraudulent going on there at all.
Right. And I want to go a step further. If that's true, if the Democrats are going to buy that shit, no wonder they're so pissed about RFK trying to change the food.
Well, and it's like the question was just raised in the chat. How can you not want to investigate any of this or fix any of it? How can you want to just keep kicking the can down the road when, I mean, just the people over 120 who obviously are not alive and are collecting those checks fraudulently, that's about $20 billion a year. So it's not that difficult to see why Social Security is scheduled to go insolvent and careen off the cliff in a fiery wreck down to the bottom of Eastwood Ravine in about 12 years from now.
Hold on. Isn't 12 years how long AOC said the world had?
Yeah, we've got a lot of problems stacking up in about 2036. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, if it's not dealt with on some level, it's going to become an issue.
I mean, well, the sun monster will destroy the planet, and then it won't matter if you get your Social Security check. So everybody wins, I guess.
I got $1 that says that'll still get rubber stamps after the apocalypse.
You're probably right.
Dude, I went to walk the dogs during the intro, and when I was coming back in, my Mastiff clipped my hip and knocked me into the stove, and the freaking the vent on top caught me right on the edge of my septum and cracked that mother. I thought I had a bleeding nose when I sat down here, but it's just running like crazy.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, no, that's why the Sasquatch moment was so disjointed, is because I was trying to recover from a fucking concussion.
Sounds like you were just in a Hell in a Cell match.
Right?
That means
We got to press the right buttons around here. Don't play none of that stuff.
he's over 100 years old. They have 4 million people. I don't know too many. I know people that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100. But over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. That can't possibly be, because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in. People from 130 years old to 139-year-old, 3,936,000.
3 million.
And I just want to raise a small but I think highly salient point here, which is that if we had a functioning press in this country, we would not need a Doge, because all of these would have been scandals years ago.
Yes, sir. Absolutely true. It would have been scandaled out of office. Everybody involved would have been just lambasted, stuck on a rail, tarred and feathered out of the freaking Congress, and you'd never heard from them again. They'd be working with Vanilla Ice selling Sea-Doos in Florida or something.
Because that's what a functioning press is supposed to do.
Welcome in, Five Fists. Good to see you, buddy. Got John Denicola join the chat.
Either way works, really.
That guy, I'm not sure how to say his name. I haven't figured it out yet.
I'm going to say Steve Senior T8. That's my best guess. I'm sticking to it.
I thought of that. That makes some sense. So we got 3 million people between the ages of 120 and 129. 3 million people. 3 million folks out there somewhere, somebody. I bet you what's going on here is you have juniors and thirds collecting checks long after the individuals passed, and they just never said nothing about it. And since no one raised a fuss for the free money, and they're able to walk in as the junior and be like, oh, they just got it written wrong, and they just cash it because that's how our system works now.
And I imagine when you're filing all the retirement paperwork 250 feet down a mine shaft in Pennsylvania with scratch pads and manila folders, that probably contributes to certain lapses in oversight that might result in certain such things like this.
But I'm trying to come up with a reasonable explanation on how you end up with someone who's over 120 still receiving Social Security.
Because shouldn't that raise a red flag in the office somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think maybe the program involved in making this database should have something of a cutoff point up around I'll be generous and call it the 110 range. Red flag should fly like crazy.
Maybe when you're about to send this month's check to the guy who was born in 1656, you might say, wait a minute, I think this guy might not really be alive. Or does that require too much administrative inquisitiveness?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I get it. And I'm just trying to be as generous, as magnanimous as possible with the fact that a whole shitload of the government's been absolutely robbing everything blind.
Yes.
Like vast segments of government organizations' purposes is to siphon money directly from the government into various unknown black holes of government funding.
And the amounts we're talking about, I think it's fair to say they were unimaginable even to people who were expecting the worst case scenario.
So the issue I have, I mean, all right, yeah, but the amounts involved would make this shadow organization of money, wherever it's going, be the second highest GDP on earth. Am I wrong?
Yes.
I mean, it's stacking up like 20 billion in Georgia alone. We've got what, 500 billion or 5 billion? No, 5 billion yearly right there. That by itself would put that organization at like what, 26th on the world's greatest GDP?
I'll pull it up. Give me a sec.
Okay. And I'm just saying that's just one tidbit. That part of the federal government's corruptive lack of oversight is our government, our tax-paying dollars have been
just our fraud, waste, and abuse could support a top 10 size country in the world. I mean, just chew on that for a moment.
I think it could go like a top 10 nation GDP followed by a couple of mid-tier GDPs as well, because there's more. There's always more when it comes to corruption. I mean, it's almost as if it spreads like corruption.
Wow. I wonder if people are getting paid with all this. I mean, are these checks? And that's what we're checking right now. People from 140 years old to 149 years old, 3,542,000, 140 years old and beyond. Now we're really.
First of all, let's cover Grim Ben. My question, and I don't have enough data or math skills, but if we eliminate all of the fraud in the federal government, how many more years can we add to the life of the Social Security system? The
I
truth
think that's
is,
a question a lot of people are asking right now.
well, no, it's fairly easy to answer when it comes down to the brass tacks of it. If you merely allowed part of the fraudulent money, not all, part, to be put into the Social Security system instead of being taken out of it, right? If you
Yeah.
just left the checks on the books and the ones that are all overdrafts from being too old were actually put back into it, of just the fraud in the Social Security system, it would suddenly support its own weight.
And that 20 billion per year, that the number that you yield when you assume that all recipients over age 120 are fraudulent, that's only one frontier of all the waste, fraud, and abuse that exists in the Social Security system. So who can even imagine what the total number is going to look like when they get to the bottom of it?
And this is not even talking about your garden variety bargain basement frauds of people actually entering in artificial names to try to generate fraudulent checks. I mean, that's just standard fraud, and I suspect they might have a grip on that.
Well, and you're
Right.
also talking about how many of the jobs that exist in that administration are redundant or superfluous and don't really have much reason for existing. And not just in the DEI department, but in all departments in general.
Right? Like Yo Pero and Yon God are having it out in here mathematically, and I love it. It's great.
I love math fights.
It can buy Canada. Now he's actually, if we take this fraud from the Social Security and the Department of Defense and eliminate the Department of Education, take that money, we might be able to buy Canada.
Yeah, and just for referential purposes, if we're talking about a top 20 size economy in the world by means of GDP, we're talking about countries like Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, Poland, the Dutch, Turkey, and they're all right around $1 trillion GDP.
And this is just a small a bit of the entitlement in a single branch of a program. This is just
with just what we found in that one administration, we could buy a Slovakia, we could buy an Uzbekistan or an Ecuador or a Guatemala easily and have money left over.
Yeah, and we could throw that towards some South American places because they're cool as hell, right?
Or we could buy Greenland.
We could buy Argentina.
Well, I say we should reorient the 50 states. I say we kick out Maine and Delaware, add Greenland and Guam.
Okay. Wait, hold on. No, we have to get rid of Hawaii too, but we're going to maintain the base and just not let it have any votes. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Hawaii's trash. If you ever go take a look at Hawaiian politics, it looks exactly like California, LA politics. It is identical.
Oh yeah, or even worse, like Washington D.C. politics.
Please buy Canada. I understand, sir. Loser.
I mean, as a fan of Canadian culture, I just don't want that to happen so badly.
Actually, Grib, that's covered by the way we function on our articles of war and conquest for America. I can't remember exactly where it's written, but the way that works is if we typically we cede it back to whoever it was that had it before, or we give it to some friendly powers. But in the event that we take over new territory, the way that works is the citizens that are there currently don't get to vote because they're not citizens, but they do get the full protections of the Constitution, police forces, military, all of that stuff shows up. Suddenly our infrastructure and stuff will reach out into that particular nation. Our money will trickle in, of course, but the actual method is from the date of conquest forward, every child born there is technically an American citizen because it's now a province or protectorate of the U.S. And so they would be able to vote. There'd be a 20-year lag in which Americans would be capable of moving there and functioning with American money, and all of the laws be American, full constitutional protections. And then 18 years later, you would get your first round of eligible voters, which would be nightmarish if you think about it.
And a careful examination of the historical record will show that the only foreign sovereign power that we have ever seized by military conquest was the Kingdom of Hawaii in the last decade of the 19th century, and most of the Hawaiians wanted us to do that. So every other possession we have gained, specifically since the start of the 20th century, we gained as spoils of war, which is fair play. It's not like we just went and grabbed them. It was, we won. You get to keep stuff when you win. You get to enforce the Monroe Doctrine when you win. So get the fuck out of here, Spaniards.
So El Perro has a point. That's true. Once conquest is completed and it's been, annexed as its own province or protectorate or possession, whatever you want to call it, the individuals there are now standing on U.S. sovereign soil, and they did not come here illegally. They lived there, right? They're Aborigines or whatever you call them. These people can then go through the usual process of immigrating to America and becoming a citizen, but they don't have to worry about the whole whether or not you come in through a port of entry. You're just sort of grandfathered in on that one. But they just go through the naturalization process and prove they're a citizen. Then they can vote.
Yeah, and I think they actually, or it used to be that they got preferential treatment in the naturalization process as far as being pushed to the front of the line, which is as it should be, I think.
Sure. I don't have any issues with any of that, which is, is an interesting segue into what I got going on. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is 5/5 Sasquatch Shills on my channel and his. Next Monday, I have a debate that I'm doing on the Raging Tomatoes that is a previous guest of Sasquatch Shills, and I'm going to debate deportation with Lawyer Chick, who's also on YouTube. You can find her under that moniker. And Raging Tomato has picked us two alternates as wingmen, so to speak. And I don't know who those people are. We don't find out until right before the show. And we'll see how all that pans out. But I think it's going to be absolutely interesting as hell. I'm going to get totally tranced, and I'm not going to care at all.
And to answer Grim Ben's last question, Puerto Ricans actually do vote in our elections. In American presidential elections, their votes just don't count. And they elect a non-voting member of the House of Representatives who is able to participate in debates and committees, but they just don't have a vote when it comes voting time.
Right. It's a province, if I remember right. It's a province, not a state. And so while it does have electors and electorates and all of the things and functioning organs of government, it doesn't actually have enough status to actually get a electorate. Electoral college votes.
Yeah. And so as far as their internal affairs, they're completely autonomous, as far as I know.
Yeah, they just use American money. What it comes to. That's it. They're basically part of a commonwealth with the U.S.
And each time they have a vote for independence, they say, "Nah, let's stay with America."
Well, at some point in time, and I think the end draws nigh, they're going to be commandeered into a state so that or maybe not. Ooh, that would actually be a really good case study for exactly how to go about taking on new territory for the U.S. Right? It's exactly that. That's exactly what it is. It and Guam, right?
Well, and if we took over Greenland, we would have the status of their 40,000 or so population to figure out.
So basically, we take Puerto Rico as a case study on how to accomplish it, and then I can't. And this is a curious thing. This is actually an interesting question. Is it possible for the Congress to make it a state against its will?
I can't imagine why it wouldn't be. If
I
it's,
feel like
if it's our possession already and we want to make it a state, it seems like the opinions of the people who live there would be rather immaterial as a practical matter.
right. So hypothetically speaking, right?
Well, I mean, I think California is probably a good example of that. When California got rushed into statehood the year after they found gold, there were a lot of people living here who really, really didn't want any part of that. The Californios,
Yeah.
specifically, the big ranchero landholders who, you know, they had a very cozy arrangement with the Mexican government, and they were in no hurry to become Americans.
Right. Well, I mean, I know a handful of people on YouTube who still refer to it as North Mexico. I'm not even joking. They're full on,
Oh, yeah, I
fully
know.
believe that this whole American fad is going to pass and it'll go back to being Mexico again.
And it's funny that they think that, because all they are really wanting to do is restore the result of the European Spanish conquest.
Essentially, it's weird. That's
Yeah.
like super duper conservative. It's really weird.
Yeah, and the people who support that position almost uniformly view European colonialism as an evil, dastardly thing. So you just run into some pretty delicious ironies from time to time.
It is. Did you see the video of the chick that tried to raise the Mexican flag over a state park?
I didn't.
Oh, I might have to go find that.
Yeah, let's have a look.
I have to do this. Nope, that's not going to work. We're going to have to do this different. Entertain the people, dancing monkey.
We could watch the rest of the Trump video.
The thing is, I've only got one screen over there. Hold on, let me pull a
Oh.
window out right quick. This one will do. Now my computer is going to crash. Watch. All right, now we can do this type of thing. Consummate professionals, people. I swear to God.
Consummate.
That explains a lot. Right. Okay. I think that fits well enough. We can live with it. Right.
Going because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old, 1,345,000. These are in the, by the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. They're super. I asked Elon, who are these Doge people? He said they're super brilliant computer people and they love the country. It's simple. Wait a minute. People from 160 years old to 169 years, 121,000. So 160-year-old people. 170 to 179,000, 6,000.
Press corps just wants him to stop talking.
But now let's go into the real numbers. From 200 to 209 years old, 879 people. From 210 years old, I haven't met any of them. And if I did,
We begin
I
tonight.
would bless them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years, 866. From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039. And then you have two people from 240 years old to 249 years old, one person. And there's one person that's 360 years old.
Told you.
Do you reckon there would be any chance of finding that address?
They have to send the check somewhere, right?
Right? But Social Security Administration is one of the more private institutions of the federal government.
And nowhere in that entire wonderful monolithic bureaucracy does anybody think to say, you know, I'm not sure this 369-year-old Social Security recipient is actually legit.
Right?
I mean, not to mention just the 220-year-old ones.
What if, and stick with me here, What if everyone in Washington is actually older than they say they are by an order of magnitude?
It's like Dominican baseball players. Do you believe Juan Soto's only 26 years old?
Could be vampires. Yeah, vampires.
That's just that. And then where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance Investments in Africa, and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in
licit
It's
livelihoods.
It's just people saying words. It's like the little word magnets you have on your refrigerator when you have little kids that they play with. It's that's how they invent the names of these things. It's just words that they stick together that could mean any goddamn thing you want it to mean. Like promoting biodiversity with inclusive technologies, and it's just.
You know what it reminds me of? What's up, chili dog all night? What's happening, bro? You know what it reminds me of? Mad Libs.
Yes.
A bunch of people sitting around in a
That's
word,
the reference I was looking for.
shuffling freaking word salad with like one of those freaking bingo things, rolling the words around and pulling them out and going, okay, we're going to have the diversity, inclusion, and manifestation of literature, technology, and development.
It's
All
just
right,
like the
go
first,
ahead.
like the first question I asked when I was reading out the USAID list. What does advancing DEI in Serbian workplaces look like? How diverse can you possibly get Serbia for $1.5 million? Are you going to import a bunch of black Serbians or Mexican Serbians or Eskimo Serbians or who the fuck knows?
No, we
Kalahari
know.
Bushman Serbians? How
That
do you
is gonna be-
diversify Serbia? Because I'm pretty sure non-Serbians probably don't have much desire to go live in Serbia. Just a guess.
I mean, maybe if you live in North Africa, Serbia might be a better.
I think most people who live in Serbia live there because they didn't have a choice.
They didn't leave. Yeah. Every time
Yeah.
somebody tells me they live in Atlanta, I ask them why and then tell them they can move. This is America. You're free to get out of that place. I call it the lost city of Atlanta. It was lost in the Great Blue Wave during the mid 80s.
The next person who says, I need to get out of here and flee to Serbia is going to be the first one.
Right. They
But
win.
we spent $1.5 million. And I know it seems like a tiny, trifling number that could never possibly matter. But where did that money actually go? I would like to know where that money went.
Right.
And what was it supposed to go to? I mean, what was the pitch behind advancing DEI in Serbian workplaces? What in the conception of the idiot bureaucrat in the diversity department who dreamed it up? What did they imagine it meant? Diversifying Serbian workplaces. How diverse could Serbian workplaces possibly get? It's probably the first.
It's probably feminism. Let's be honest. Since there aren't, I bet you could count all the black Serbians that are there in like a single truckload or bus. You know, I mean, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, it's probably like we need more 90-pound women. We need more 90-pound women construction workers.
Sure. I mean, I got no problem with women construction workers. I've met a few very talented construction worker women, and they didn't try to do things that they couldn't do, and that's part of what made them talented, right? Machine operators, fine, no problem. But when it comes to trying to hang a 400-pound beam 200 feet,
yeah, and there's certain skilled trades that women can do just fine if they're inclined to do them. But there are certain other ones that are not,
right? So
like you mentioned.
and that's kind of how you can tell a talented one. It kind of reminds me of the beginning of Boondock Saints, where the hardcore freaking Doc Martin boot wearing feminist comes on the two protagonists of the story and tells the story about how he says a good rule of thumb, and she starts preaching to the people in there. The rule of thumb was developed in such and such and blah, 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 because you could beat your wife provided the stick was no larger than a man's thumb. And the dude's response was, shoot, we can't do much damage with that, can we? Maybe it should have been a rule of wrist. And she kicks him right in the gonads.
What?
Oh, it's nice. 25 million to go into Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of.
Hold on. I got a theory
40
about
million?
that particular 25 million. Has anybody asked Hunter Biden how much his cocaine habit is a week?
I'm telling you, check great grandbaby Biden's bank account right now.
Yeah. Grant money is not audited.
And
That
he
is
probably does already have 6 fucking LLC shell companies. That's probably not even a joke.
correct. Yeah, it shouldn't be funny. Or it should be funny and probably isn't.
Yeah.
$1 billion to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. 40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place to research and
Hold on. Sedentary migrants. Moving people
If they
who
were
can't.
sedentary, they wouldn't be migrants.
I mean, I'm not, I don't mean to be that guy, but
Well, yeah, certain terms are internally self-defeating, one of which is sedentary migrant.
oh, sedentary migrants.
drive social and behavior
Jumbo
change in
shrimp, dry
Uganda.
water.
32 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are
There
massive
again,
numbers
it's
that
just
nobody
a
ever
string
heard
of
of.
words that don't mean anything.
Right? I'm totally curious about that. I want to hear that again.
Invest in developmental challenges.
Research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges.
University-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges.
All right. So to
Tell me what
derive
that
the meaning hold on, I'm working on it, bro. University sourced means that it's coming from captured left-wing institutions.
Yes, college faculty lounge, which is where most of our public policy gets made up until recently.
Right. Evidence-based means that they're going to have to provide some form of data to bona fide the actual results, right?
Well, as a practical matter, evidence-based means leftist orthodoxy that you're not allowed to challenge or will call you racist.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to be rational with this, and I can see they're not going to do that. So I'm going to continue with what was the next bit?
University-sourced, evidence-based.
Oh God, it's so long you can't remember.
University-sourced, evidence-based solutions to develop
Solutions. Okay, so we're going
Solutions
to
to
solve the
developmental
problem.
challenges.
Right. Solve the problem of developmental challenges. But what I hear when I hear that phrase is indoctrination of people with lower IQ.
Yes. And that is the actual meaning of many of these word salad phrases that we hear, that we have the honor of dumping 20 and 30 and 40 and $100 million into here and there.
I'm kind of assuming that at least most of these sedentary migrants are like injuries of some sort, but I don't know that. And I think I'm being too generous.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Okay, do that.
developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $10 million for circumcisions in another country. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people?
Enterprise-driven skills.
Can we teach them about enterprise?
Dude, you are going to absolutely love the answer that the Google AI robot just gave me to the question of what is a sedentary migrant.
Oh, yeah. Do
Sedentary
it.
migrants
Hold
are
on,
people
hold
who
on, let
tend
me
to
give you
stay
these
in
straight.
one place for long periods of time rather than traveling internationally frequently. They may still engage in transnational activities such as sending money or communicating with relatives. Sedentary behavior can be a result of adapting to a new culture and infrastructure. For example, South Asian immigrants may have low physical activity and high sitting times due to a lack of time, cost, and culturally appropriate facilities. Young immigrants may spend less time on recreational physical activity than non-immigrants. Sedentary migrants may experience ambivalent belonging and desired recognition in transnational social fields. For example, the Fulani people in Agogo have lived in the community for so long that they are considered local Fulani by I don't know what that word is, farmers. Research on sedentary migrants includes migrants' multifocal sedentarism, ambivalent belonging, and desired recognition in transnational social fields connecting Pakistan and Norway? Associations in physical activity and sedentary behavior among the immigrant and non-immigrant U.S. population. Here ends the robot answer.
Your mama.
Pakistan and Norway?
All right, so that's an interesting correlation. You know, there was an Archie Bunker episode. No, wasn't Archie Bunker. Golden Girls, maybe. I think it was Golden Girls. There was a Golden Girls episode where the news on the TV said something about using discovered waste from government spending to purchase Greenland and to send all of the Palestinians to Greenland. There was a full conversation about this.
I proposed that idea myself.
And
I think they would do great there.
The quote from Betty White was, "If you give them clothes, they'll be fine."
Yep. Stay nice and warm.
Right.
We'll be back to check on you in 5 years.
How many Palestinians are there total, you reckon?
Couple million. As far as those who actually live in the Palestinian territories currently.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just about 2 million, as far as I know.
So we'll be generous and we will double that, right? We're going to double that and say worldwide, all Palestinians everywhere that wants to identify as Palestinian will give you a free trip to Greenland, right?
Absolutely.
What would that do to Greenland's population? How many people are there? Like 963,000 or something like that?
40,000 at best.
So let's be generous there too. We'll say there's 80,000. So we're talking about multiplying the population of Greenland by a factor of like 14.
Orders of magnitude, yeah.
Yeah. No. You want to talk about building?
That would sure be a fun clash of cultures, though, wouldn't it?
Fight. There's 2 million of these guys showing up, and only not even 100,000 residents. Yeah, it's
well. But how much logistical support do they have from the Iranians now?
Wow, absolutely nightmarish. I've got one last tidbit I kind of want to blink off on here before we go. I'm only going to do like just a minute of it. No, it's
often we think it looks like a
Shut up. This guy.
Act, but we got to hurry.
All right. So if we catch a copyright claim, it will occur during this bit because there's a music playing in here, right? This dude's job that we're fixing to see, his job is to basically rubber stamp everything you've heard about this afternoon through to USAID, to USAID, to all of the foreign money that's going out. He is
all of those delicious slabs of pork.
This is specifically through the EPA. This is a totally different part of the money that's being corruptly taken from the government, right? And this dude's fixing to lay it out what his plan was before Trump took office.
So now we're just like getting out as quick as possible. Right. Yeah, the tune of 50 billion. No, it's like 2 billion.
They've already extirpated 90% of it, and they're still trying to dump as much as they can before inauguration.
We are disposing of the money as quickly and indiscriminately as possible, just to spite Trump and to spite the American taxpayer.
Right. And what happens if they try to stop it? They can, right? Of course, Trump's team will be able to take, executive control. Oh,
They've done a pretty good job getting the foxes out of the hen house, I have to say.
Do you reckon, though? Are they just replacing them with their own foxes currently, or what do you reckon?
I think it's going to go much better than it did last time around, because I think he placed entirely too much. I think he didn't have a full comprehension of exactly what he was up against, and I think he invested entirely too much trust in a GOP establishment that wanted to destroy him nearly as bad as the Democrats did.
Right. The deep state went at him, and the Teflon Don has done it again. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you just need to clear all those scumbags out of the White House first off, and I think they've done a much better job of that this time.
Yeah,
they just shit canned the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff as well. They should have done. That guy is a woke maniac. That guy is going to undermine you for 4 years, just like Milley did.
Yeah, no, Milley. I don't know, Milley. I don't understand that at all. That makes no sense to me. Of him being captured, that's weird to me. But okay, I'm not denying.
It is
I'm not in denial. I'm just saying that's a strange quarter from which some stuff to come from, right?
Well, but you're always going to have, especially when you've got such an inordinate number of 4-star generals as we do. We've got 44 4-star generals. So naturally, a good portion of those are going to become political generals who go along to get along and are happy to go with whichever way the fashionable political winds are blowing, which is where you get a guy like Milley and a guy like the Air Force guy who just got fired, whose name I forget.
Clue Studio says, Squatch, I need 15 million to alleviate bullying and discrimination of non-binary students at secondary education schools in Greece. You probably
sounds great. Here's your check.
Right? Sounds great. Sign up right to my left.
What's that date? Inauguration, the 20th. It's on the 20th of January. Throw a couple billion here or there. It's until the Trump people come in and tell us we can no longer give up money.
See, the EPA used to care about basic oversight, but now it's really just about dumping all this money to politically friendly causes to make sure.
Right.
Yep.
That is exactly, that's out of that entire video. That is the most salient point that he has to make. Because, this is just one dude in one branch of one part of a government program. He's just one guy with a rubber stamp, and he has taken it upon himself that his job is to rubber stamp as much trash across his desk as he can get until they physically stop him.
And he thinks he is engaged in a morally virtuous task.
He believes he is on the right side of history.
Yes. And to Queen Bird's point, quickly, I would submit that if we were a saner and more rational society than we are, we would have a lot of treason trials going on right now. And the top of that list would be the enemy saboteur Alejandro Mayorkas, who, in my opinion, is an accessory to the murder of over 500,000 Americans. And that one has hit directly home in my house.
I'll give you that one. And not just them. I mean, the St. Fauci situation kind of needs to has a resolution that doesn't involve a preemptive pardon for possible crimes that might have been created.
That guy built a bioweapon that killed 1 million more people than the Holocaust.
I'm just
if we're going to
saying,
call things what they are.
What I'm getting, and by the way, a presidential pardon doesn't pardon you from world crimes. Just saying.
Or state crimes.
That's also true. So yeah, right. So what I'm getting at is the concept of a preemptive pardon, I don't believe has been utilized previously. So there's no precedent set for that.
No, and certainly not on this scale.
And the debate on whether or not the SCOTUS is going to have anything to say about that remains to be seen.
Yep.
It's about that time, bud. Do that
About
thing
that
you
time.
do so well.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks ever so much for joining us here on the Blast Radius this evening on behalf of myself and Caucasian Sasquatch and of course Black George Washington, but he was gone in a flash because he had to attend to that plumbing issue, I guess. And we hope that turns out well for him. We hope he comes back again with us soon. We want you to all have a great week and a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening. We will see you next time. Same Cap Squatch time, same Cap Squatch channel. Much love. See you later. Peace out. Get off my lawn.
Give me the money. Give me the money.